はい。皆さん、こんにちは。ジョーです。今日はですね、またこのクリプト領域で非常に活躍されているファウンダーの方をお招きをして、今日もお話聞いていきたいと思うんですが、今日はですね、GAIBというですね、皆さんも聞いたことがここ先あるんじゃないかなと思うんですけれども、いろんな GPU ですとか、そういったものをトークン化したりですとか、AI 関連のプロジェクトで様々なプロダクトをですね、今続々とこのクリプト領域に出してくれていっている、この領域のリーダーなんですけれども、今日はですね、この CEO のコニーさんに来ていただいて、いろいろとですね、お伺いをしていきたいかなと思っております。Okay, thank you so much, Connie, for your time. I'm really happy that I have you as a, like speakers, and also, the GAIB is doing very unique, and also the industry leader of this vertical. So I wanted to ask about what you're doing, why you're doing, and also the products that you guys recently launched and will launch. Is that good?
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, happy to be here and share more about what GAIB is doing and also share more about what we are trying to bring the values to the market.
Sounds great. Do you mind we starting about your background and so on?
Sure. Yeah, we'd love to. I can give a quick intro. So Kony, CEO of GAIB here. Um, an investor turned founder. So before doing GAIB, I was doing crypto VC investments where we invest mainly on the crypto infrastructures, including EigenLayer, Babylon, Risk Zero, Linear, Sui, Polyhedra, etc., etc. And then before that, I got my training in traditional finance, doing credit research, equity research, and private equity. So I'm at the same time I'm a big AI fan, where I love developing AI. Half an engineer by training. So the things that at GAIB that what we're doing is pretty unique. We want to number one, open a new market for GPU assets so that people can have access to it. Because right now, basically, there's no market for GPUs, no market for compute assets. We have market for gold, for oil, but it's nothing for it. So the whole vision of me starting GAIB with other co-founders is actually to bring this market to people, to bring the access to people, lower down the entry barriers, and also open up new economies in the AI era.
Thank you so much. Before we go into too much detail on those products, how did you start this project? Why you started this project? You were in the VC and doing other things, but what made you start your business here?
Yeah. So I had initially I was at a venture capital, right? So we were looking at quite some investments in the space. And then around late 2023, the market was talking about crypto and AI crossover. As a big AI fan, I'm super excited about the two merging together because I also believe in the values of blockchain that can bring to AI. So that's why at that moment, I was looking at quite some companies doing data model, AI applications, decentralized compute marketplaces, and realized that in the market, there were nobody doing anything related to finance. And given my background in the finance, I was like, this is pretty strange, right? It intrigues me because to me, every market should have a finance company to service the other people. For example, if you look at airline industry, that's like aircraft leasing. You look at car industry, that's car leasing. And why don't we have one? That's for the most important industry that we see these days, which is AI infrastructure, data centers, cloud companies. So I get the idea, and then I talked to my co-founder, Alex. So he is the perfect guy that I went to because his background is more on AI and semiconductor. His family runs one of the top chip maker globally these days. And he himself also has an AI cloud company. So I went over to him and say, hey, Alex, do you think there's a need for a finance company to service you guys? And then immediately he was like, yeah, man, I've been thinking about this for so long. This is the problem that, we want the solution. Not only us, but also our friends in the AI cloud industry, they also want this. So it's at that time that we have decided to do this together. This is around Q1 last year. We had the idea, we polish the product, architecture, and then we come out to build a team and build a product. And there's a third guy that I went to, which is my third co-founder, June. So his background is like PhD from Cornell, doing cryptographic research in the space from really early on, 2014-15, doing mining, and then as a smart contract developer afterwards. And he's a DeFi expert. Most of DeFi protocols inside out smart contract level. So I want to leverage on blockchains, all the DeFi Lego puzzles to actually build the economy that I want on top of the crypto economy. So that's why I went over to him and say, hey, I have this idea. I want to bring these actual assets, highly demanded in the AI era on chain, into the crypto economy. Do you think that makes sense? And then he immediately guessed that, because I think the vision that we aligned, the key point that we aligned is Web 1 and Web 3 key differences. One, they're both open source, but one has a business model, one has a token economy model that can make the business to grow sustainably. While in Web 1, we don't have that. That's why most of the innovations become public goods. So yeah, that's why it was from mid-year 2024 last year that we started to do this project, building the team, building the product. And we also there are a lot of things that we achieved in the past 9 months. I'm happy to dive deeper if you're interested.
Sounds great. Thank you. And I want to know more about this tokenized GPU product. It's great that you guys have a founder that has such a background, but also I think this audience is more of people who want to put the money onto or use such product from the other side. And why this is very useful or important for people like me or the audience.
Yeah. There's always a question about what are your values? What are value add to the market? So when we look at market, there are mainly two audiences. One type of them is the cloud companies. The other type is anybody who wants to get access to this new asset class. So let's talk about the buyers who want to put money into this asset. Well, right now, if we want to get into invest into AI, the immediate thing that got to your mind is, well, Nvidia stock, right? What else can I invest into AI for the underlying asset? There's nothing other than the stock market, which stock market is good because they provide you with indirect access to the company that's providing the chips to the AI company, providing chips to different data centers so they can host model, train models, and then at the end, they can service the application side. But what if we want to have a direct exposure? For example, if you want to buy gold, you don't just want to buy gold stock. You may actually want to buy gold, the asset itself. So that's why these days you have different types of instruments to get access to gold. For example, futures, ETF, even the other structured products. But we don't have a market that allow you to invest directly into GPU assets. These the most important chips these days, because no matter how the applications you grow, you still need compute. And compute is the new currency. People all say about it. But what generates compute or what provide compute? These are the computation assets. They are the GPUs that, captures most of the value in supply chain these days. So that's why what we want to do is break down the barrier, open up new market. People have direct access to it. You and I right now, we can invest directly in the GPU. We can give us pretty good yield. Most people, they don't know, but cloud companies make quite a lot of money. For example, let's not talk about those hyperscalers like AWS, GCP, Azure, this big cloud. Even the small cloud companies, they make quite a lot of money these days because of the surge in demand for AI, for training, for inferencing. So through investing into these GPU assets, you actually ride with the growth of the whole industry because they're the base layer of everything. And then to the cloud company, what are the values that we're providing to them? Well, most of these cloud companies, for them, they face a problem, meaning for capital, because running a cloud company to buy GPUs is actually very capital intensive, meaning you need a lot of money to actually set up a cloud company to service the people. For example, one machine of H200, which is the latest GPU by NVIDIA, costs $300,000. It's not accessible to you and me, as an individual consumer. This all goes to big institutions, enterprises that they can actually get access to it. And for cloud companies to buy huge clusters of GPUs, they need a lot of money. And to get the funding, there are usually two ways to get funding. One is their own profit, their own capital. The second is to go to VC, get venture money, do equity fundraising, get money by investing into the stock. Or third way is to get capital from debt financing, borrow money from banks, private credit, private lending, family offices, etc. Most of the cloud company these days can only get access into the first two means. The third mean is pretty hard because the market doesn't really understand. Most people don't really understand about GPU assets because number one, they're new, and the banks does not know how to underwrite this. They don't really understand the business model of the cloud company. So that's why what GAIB is doing is providing an additional funding channel for these cloud company, giving them access to capital that they could not get access to in the past. So through us, they can buy more GPUs, get more funding, and support the growth of the market. And if there's actually more compute, there could be a lower cost of using these GPUs, and more applications, more utilities could be built on top. It could benefit consumers at you and me, and in the end. So that's the whole goal of what we want to do is funnel more capital in this market, help its growth, so to benefit everybody. And you and I, as the one who want to invest into asset, we also ride with the growth of the market.
Thank you. How do you get those partners that you work with for those cloud companies, or how do you like screen them? Because I think those credibility is quite important for us to put the money into this product, right?
Yeah, exactly. So because of our background and connections in the AI industry, it is a pretty small niche network of like cloud companies there. So it's easier for us to do several things: get connected with other partners and cloud companies in this space. Second thing is to do due diligence on them. So for example, if you claim to have I have a huge cluster of GPUs in my backyard, providing maybe 10,000 GPUs there, well, we can easily dial up somebody that we know in the market, either the OEMs or ODMs that sell them GPUs. We know whether you're lying or not. And the second thing is you claim to have a customer from ABC big client, even though it's like commercial secret for who your clients are. But then people know what people in the industry, they know like who want to what GPUs, how much they're using. So it's not difficult for us to do like cross-reference check, due diligence on them. And it is a very unique advantages that we have over the others because we are an operator ourselves. I mean, my co-founder, right? So we can get, number one, the first line information of how much your GPUs are being rented at. Second thing, like whether you really have the GPUs. So that we can do a pretty precise selection of the cloud partners that we work with. Right now in our pipeline, we're working with more than 10 GPU cloud companies, data centers globally, where they have like GPUs across the world. And most of them are NVIDIA cloud partners. NVIDIA cloud partners, I mean NCP, they are the dedicated cloud partners that NVIDIA work with to provide like more localized AI services to the companies there. So through our connections, to our network, we can, number one, select. We can, number two, actually choose who we work with. And also the third thing is you mentioned about how do we check the assets. There will be third-party auditor that help us to do the audit if necessary to check on whether you have like 10,000 GPUs as you plan and how much they're worth. So in that case, for the product that we do, these will be being collateralized by the GPUs of the cloud company. So there will be actual access that is behind all the product. That's the first thing. The second thing is we also need to check whether this cloud company has a customer so that the GPUs are making money every day, generating cash flow, and also there's contract behind. So this gives us more confidence on the cloud company could have capital flowing to the buyers like you and I. We put money in. The main goal is to get money back. So we want to make sure that happens with them. So through this like more stringent like due diligence on the cloud company partners, on the customers, on the asset, we aim to provide the top level confidence to people who invest in our products.
Thank you. And assuming those business partners are very, doing the business really, really well, but how much are we making? How much yield are we generating on these products?
Yeah. So typically the yield can range from the pretty diverse range. It could be from 10% to 40%, depending on how we're working with them. For example, if we are purely doing like a loan agreement, lending money to this cloud company, so the yield is like 10 to 20%. And depending on geography, depending on the company history, depending on the asset value, etc. And if we're talking about more upside sharing, that type of model, like profit sharing, revenue sharing, then the return that we could get for these like assets is basically 40-50% plus. So that's how much they could make every year. Because if you look at the return and the ROI of a GPU card, it's usually 12 to 18 months, 24 months. So that means like it's 50% to 100% APR every year. For the hyperscalers, they can charge more, like AWS, GCP, they charge us more. So their return is even higher. For example, Jensen was saying, if you invest $1 now into an H100 GPU, in 4 years, you're going to get $7 back, meaning that's more than 7 times of initial investment. So the payback, the ROI for that is like 100, 200% every year. So like the ones who we're working with, they're not so like, not like the hyperscalers where they have monopoly. They also be more competitive in terms of market. They still have like good return, where they can share part of that to our investors, part of that to you and I who invest into these assets.
Thank you. I think those higher yielding product, they are receiving those money and buy GPU, right? But what about the other like 10% or 50%? What are the like main difference? They also do the same. They get the money and buy the thing and give the return to the providers, or
Yeah, one type is just think about it as like bond versus equity. So equity is you are getting more like an upside sharing, meaning how much the GPUs they make, you make. If they don't make anything, like unfortunately you don't make anything. So it's more like high in terms of risk, it's high risk, high return. And the other type is more like a bond or loan, meaning you're lending money to them, which they promise you pretty fixed rate of return. So in this case, you're more protected, but of course you have to give up the upside on the money they make. So it's different risk profile, basically.
I see. I totally understood. So now is everything available, and anybody who want to, put the money in, they all can do, or is there a whitelist, or what are the current situation?
Yeah. Let me share a bit more about the updates on the product. So we did the pilot launch last month, and Ember Group was our exclusive like distribution partner. It was like a pilot. So we did it small with like selected investors. And then right now, we have just launched our waitlist program for our pre-deposit vault that's coming in early April. So it's about the AI dollar, AI synthetic asset. We call it AI dollar, AID, AI dollar. So these AID is essentially will be investing into the tokenized GPUs that I mentioned earlier, and to actually generate yield. So the vault, the waitlist program is up, and then the vault will be launched in early April. So if you want to be part of that, join us on the waitlist. You will have priorities to be joining us when the pre-deposit vault actually opens.
Okay, I saw probably can put the link on the description side.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, it's very simple. AID.gaib.ai.
Okay, and then after a while, it is going to be open for more public. Is it more like a vault phase, or?
Yeah, it's going to be more like a vault phase, and then we will have cap, so that we incentivize the early supporters with our incentive program, and that's going to be a cap to it. So,
I see. Thank you. So I think so. This is the current product, but is there anything else coming up or in the future, or how are you guys going to like develop on products?
Yeah, of course. In terms of what GAIB's vision is as I mentioned earlier, we want to create the whole AI economy, right? The whole economy for these assets. If you look at what happened to gold, right? Bringing the instruments that allow you to trade gold was only the first step you do. The other thing you do is create a suite of different types of product that can fit different people's risk appetite, different people's investment needs there. So that's why we'll be integrating the AID with a lot of the money markets, lending and borrowing protocols, so they can use them in DeFi as you wish. Second thing, will be integrating with other structured product protocols like Pendle to do PDYD for people who like to either do looping or leverage or speculation or hedge. They could do so. And also, we have a lot more interesting integrations that you could do. For example, you could do leverage with a lending pool, allow you to maybe 2 times the position there. So there's a lot of interesting ways that you could do. And we also do options and futures, meaning you can trade on the prices of the underlying like GPU assets there. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting market that we open up, and different utilities that would open up to create a whole economy for anyone. If you want to get exposure, there's always a means for you to do so.
I see. So I think in the future, from time to time, you might have different partners, but this is going to be the like big pool that you get to expose to, and also probably diversify the risk onto different GPU providers. That's correct.
Exactly. So AID, AI synthetic asset, it's basically a basket of different tokenized GPUs deals, financialized GPU deals that we put onto to our platform. So it's more like a balanced portfolio where you get a different yield sources, you get different portfolios into a basket. So that's why it allows you to diversify what you want to invest in, how much yield you're getting, and also lower down the barrier. So for those people who were not super interested in understanding, what the underlying is, they just want yield. So we simplify the process for them.
I think. I feel like this product is quite different from other existing yield-bearing product in the crypto market because I think they're all affected by the crypto market conditions. But this is more like really affected by the business in AI, which supposed to be, or we all assume growing like really big for the next 10, 5, or even further. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So what we want to bring to the market is about real yield. So, Vitalik has been talking about in DeFi, we can't just always do the outborrows. Like we have to break it. Like we can't just do subsidies on a token, and we have to get the yield has to come from something external. So what we bring is bring the external yield into crypto. And for these like AI cloud companies, most of them, they have pretty long like revenue cycle, meaning if I sign a contract with you, you're going to stay with us for 1 to 3 years at least. So meaning that the revenue is pretty predictable, it's less volatile. So whether it's bull market, bear market, you're still making such amount of money. In that case, it could give a pretty good hedge to most people's like more speculative portfolio for trading meme coins. I mean, meme coins definitely give you 10x, but of course, at the same time, you also need like part of your money into more stable return there so that can survive on different market conditions, right? So that's what we aim to provide, like an alternative source to somebody's portfolio that we think, at least I think, like we all need.
I see. Thank you. And also, just a little bit going back to the your business model. So, cloud providers or anybody who work with you, are they a special business or like why they're working with you instead of like working with other financial institutions or other financial providers?
Yeah, good question. I think the short answer to that is right now it's actually pretty hard for them to get like typical financing sources in traditional finance way. More as I mentioned earlier, the market it's pretty early for them. Most of them do not really understand the business model of a cloud company. They don't even know what is GPU. Hard to evaluate that. And especially after the financial crisis, a lot of the traditional banking systems are pretty slow to adapt to the new asset class. So that's why, and also the thing why they would come to us is we could become a standard in the market on how we're doing things. We aim to be a platform. Whether you are like cloud companies, whether you're capital and crypto or traditional finance, we will welcome you to join us. So it's not a mutually exclusive. If there's like more traditional funds they want to invest into this area, definitely come over to our platform, be a capital partner, or even do deals with us. So that's totally fine. We offer an alternative source to whatever these cloud companies they already have, and they could find it easier with us because we understand the space, we understand the business, and we also understand how to underwrite the different deals with them.
Thank you. We only have another 5 minutes, but the last question from me is, what are the challenges that you're facing or you might face in this business? It sounds like AI business is, quite a good, but of course you guys are leaders, so you might have a special, challenges that others probably wouldn't face.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest challenges that we have right now is to educate the market. I think most people, they might, like some people when I talk to who's not too techy or who's not so into technology, they might not know like what even is a GPU there. And to them, AI is only OpenAI, ChatGPT, AI applications. But then there's a whole supply chain behind. And we do want to educate the market about what we do, why these assets are valuable, why we're giving you access to it, whether you will not be able to do so. So that's why we publish a lot of researchers on our end to educate the market about what is like AI, what is like GPU assets. Especially we publish a report called AI5, talking about how do we financialize AI through blockchain. And one part of that is talking about on the GAIB side, we're doing computation asset financialization. We're giving a means for these assets to be into crypto. And we also we publish another research with Plume on RWA side, because these assets that we're bringing from real world to blockchain that has supposed to have more stable yield, more sustainable yield, and actual yield from the demands of the end user, we bring to the market. So I do think that we're slowly getting there. People are more educated about AI, more educated about computation assets. And even if you look at the market, the States is investing like $500 billion through the Stargate initiative into AI infrastructure. Like Magnificent Seven is investing $300 billion into the AI infrastructure themselves as well. So it's just a matter of time where I think people will realize that, wow, I could just invest into something else other than buying a stock, and they're giving return, which I could never dream of. So, yeah, I think educating the market, getting awareness is definitely the key thing that we would be doing in the coming months.
Thank you. And before we wrap it up, is there anything that you want to mention or you want to talk to the audience?
Yeah, I think one key thing is stay tuned, follow us on Twitter, on our website, and also join us on the AI revolution. And by the way, our name has an inspiration from Dune, the movie. We sent out GAIB, so that's how we call the name GAIB. It also means three things: GPU, AI, and bond, where bond means like financialization and blockchain. So summoning all the Dune fans who would like to join us on the AI revolution, because, in the AI era, compute is just like spice, the most precious asset in the era. It's currency in our era. And yeah, join us on the revolution. Join the waitlist. Follow us.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're really busy, but I hopefully, join the whitelist and also enjoy the pretty good yield. And looking forward to the further developments.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Kony.